Picture this. A vast army, thousands strong, marching toward the holy city of Mecca. Their armor shines under the desert sun. Their elephants, towering and terrifying, stomp the ground with every step, dust rising like a storm before them. Their leader, filled with arrogance, believes nothing can stop him, not men, not tribes, not even the sanctity of Allah's house. This was Abraha, the governor of Yemen under the Christian kingdom of Abyssinia. His mission? To destroy the Kaaba, the house of Allah built by Ibrahim and Ismail. He had constructed a massive church in Yemen, hoping to divert the Arabs' pilgrimage away from Mecca. But when the people ignored it and continued traveling to the Kaaba, his pride boiled into rage, so he raised an army, not just soldiers on foot, but elephants, animals never before seen in Arabia. To the Arabs, the sight was unimaginable. It was like a wall of beasts, each step shaking the earth, heading straight for the sacred sanctuary. But what Abraha didn't realize was this. He was not marching against a building, he was marching against Allah. The Qur'an captures this moment in a chapter every Muslim knows, but few pause to reflect on deeply. Surah al-Fil. Have you not seen how your Lord dealt with the companions of the elephant? Did he not make their plan go astray? And he sent against them birds in flocks, striking them with stones of hard clay, and he made them like eaten straw. Now pause and imagine the scene. The army advances, the elephants roar, the Kaaba stands in silence, and the Quraysh, the people of Makkah, can do nothing. They are powerless, outnumbered, defenseless. Some fled into the mountains, some clung to the Kaaba, praying desperately for protection. And then from the sky they came birds, small, ordinary-looking birds, arriving in flocks to the human eye. They seemed harmless, but each bird carried in its beak and claws tiny stones, stones unlike any other. They swooped down upon the army, and when the stones fell, they struck with a force far beyond their size. Soldiers who seemed invincible fell instantly. The elephants that shook the ground collapsed, their massive bodies crumbling under the smallest of projectiles. The army panicked, chaos spread, and the once proud soldiers were left destroyed, shredded, scattered, turned into nothing more than eaten straw, like the husks left behind after an animal has chewed and spat out fodder. It was not the birds themselves that destroyed the army. It was Allah. The birds were his soldiers, the stones were his weapon. The victory was his alone, and here is the miracle within the miracle. Not a single stone missed its target. Each one struck exactly whom Allah willed. This was not random. This was divine precision. The people of Quraysh witnessed it with their own eyes. They had no power to defend the Kaaba, yet Allah defended it himself. It was a sign to them and to all mankind. The sacred house is under the protection of its Lord. And here's what makes this story even more powerful. It happened in the very year the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was born. The year of the elephant. The same year that Allah destroyed an army with birds. He brought into the world the final messenger through whom the Kaaba would be restored to its true purpose. A place of pure worship of Allah alone. This was no coincidence. It was divine timing, one sign of destruction and one sign of mercy. Both in the same year. Both connected to the same house. Let's pause for a moment. Why did Allah choose birds to destroy an army? Why not thunder, or an earthquake, or a flood? There is a wisdom here. Birds are among the smallest of creatures compared to elephants. What could a flock of tiny birds possibly do against massive war beasts and thousands of soldiers? Nothing, unless Allah wills it, and that is the lesson. Allah shows his power not by using the strongest against the strong, but by using the weakest so that no one can claim victory belong to anything other than him. Each bird carried stones described in the Qur'an as hijara min sijil, stones of hard clay. But what's interesting is that sijil is also a term used for a punishment inscribed, a divine decree. It wasn't just ordinary rock. It was a punishment written and delivered by Allah. The scholars explained that each stone carried not only physical force, but divine precision. When it struck a soldier, it pierced through flesh, burning, infecting, leaving wounds that no human could survive. Some narrations even mention that men died instantly on the spot, while others staggered away, only to collapse later with their flesh rotting from where the stone had struck, a punishment slow enough to terrify the army, but fast enough to erase their arrogance. Now reflect on this. Abraham had elephants, creatures the Arabs feared. He had soldiers, thousands disciplined and armed. He had strategy marching with pride toward the Kaaba. And yet, Allah didn't send an army of men to fight him. Allah didn't send lions or predators. He sent tiny birds, the weakest of creatures carrying the lightest of weapons. This is the essence of Tawheed. Power belongs only to Allah. He can use what is small to destroy what is great. He can use what is overlooked to humble what is arrogant. He can make a feather stronger than a sword, and the people of Quraysh never forgot it. The story of the Year of the Elephant was told for generations. Even before revelation came to the Prophet, peace be upon him, the Quraysh knew this story by heart. It was part of their memory, their history, their proof that Allah had protected his house. So, when Allah revealed Surah al-Fil, He was not introducing something new. He was reminding them of something they already knew. Have you not seen what your Lord did with the people of the elephant? Yes, they had seen, their fathers had told them. Some of the elderly had witnessed it themselves. But here's the twist. They knew the story, but they had forgotten the lesson. They remembered the birds, but they forgot the Lord of the birds. They remembered the Kaaba being saved, but they forgot to worship the one who saved it. And this is the danger of history. A people may carry miracles in their memory, yet still fall into arrogance, idolatry, and heedlessness. Surah al-Fil is not just about Abraham. It is also a warning to Quraysh. Do not think your power will protect you. Do not think your wealth and idols will save you. Allah protected his house before you, and he can destroy you just as easily. Think about how this connects to us today. We live in a world where nations rise and boast of their armies, their weapons, their technology, but what is all of it before Allah? If he wills, he can send something as small as a virus, invisible to the naked eye, and the world collapses. He can send winds, waves, quakes, or even birds, and the mightiest empires fall like straw chewed and spat out. This is the lesson of Surah al-Fil. Do not be deceived by strength. Do not be intimidated by power, and never think the Kaaba or the deen of Allah is unprotected. Allah is its guardian, always has been, always will be. The story of the birds in the army is not just a miracle of destruction. It is also a miracle of timing, because that same year, in the city of Makkah, a child was born, a child who would change the course of human history forever. The final messenger, Muhammad, peace be upon him. The Year of the Elephant is remembered not only for the downfall of Abraham's arrogance, but for the birth of the Prophet of Mercy. One event was a sign of Allah's punishment, the other a sign of his mercy. Both together were a declaration. Falsehood will fall, and truth will rise. Think about the symbolism. Abraham wanted to destroy the Kaaba. He wanted to erase the center of Tawheed, the symbol of Ibrahim's legacy. But Allah stopped him, and then Allah sent Muhammad, peace be upon him, to purify that same Kaaba from idols and restore it to its true purpose. A house for the worship of Allah alone. In other words, the Year of the Elephant was not only about protection, it was about preparation. Allah was preparing the way for Islam. For Quraysh, this should have been a wake-up call. They saw with their own eyes that Allah defends his sanctuary. They knew no army could overpower him. And yet, within just a few decades, they would oppose the very messenger Allah sent from among them. The same people who survived because Allah protected the Kaaba later fought the one sent to bring them its true message. And that is one of the greatest lessons of this story. It is possible to see miracles, to witness divine power, and still turn away. Miracles don't benefit a heart that refuses to submit. Only humility does. But there's also a personal lesson for us here. How many times has Allah saved you from harm? How many times has He protected you in ways you didn't even notice? How many times has He removed obstacles you thought were impossible to overcome? Every breath you take, every danger you escape, every blessing you enjoy is like a flock of birds sent to protect you. The question is, do we remember the birds or do we remember the Lord of the birds? Surah al-Fil is short, just 5 verses, but its message shakes the arrogant and lifts the humble. It reminds us that history is not written by the strong, but by the will of Allah, and that no matter how powerful someone thinks they are still weaker than a bird with a pebble. If Allah commands it, so the next time you recite Surah al-Fil in your salah, don't just rush through it. Pause, see the elephants, see the soldiers, see the sky filled with flocks of tiny birds, and remember that Allah can turn the greatest army into dust, and He can raise the weakest servant into strength. Because this surah is not just about Abraham's army, it's about every power that stands against the truth, and it's a reassurance to every believer. Allah protects His house, Allah protects His deen, and Allah protects His servants. The birds of Surah al-Fil were a sign that the Kaaba belongs to Allah and nothing can touch it without His will, a sign that arrogance leads to ruin and humility leads to safety, and a sign that when Allah decides, the smallest of creatures can change the course of history. And so the Qur'an asks you, have you not seen what your Lord did with the companions of the elephant? It's not just a question about the past. It's a reminder for the present. If Allah destroyed an army with birds, what arrogance do you and I dare to carry in our hearts? And if Allah protected His house then, do we not believe He will protect His religion now? If you liked this video, please hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more amazing content.